Sanjuan Wolf is Pluton, the Colossal Battleship by legendary anime. Hi everyone, Flying Panda. Sanjuan Wolf, known as the Colossal Battleship, fits the idea of the humanoid Pluton perfectly. This is part 2, please check out part 1 first. Not only does his monstrous size fit the idea of Pluton, but he is a monster of a being. He's the biggest known person to date in the current story and is even bigger than Oars or Oars Jr. But Pluton is a battleship, right? So how can a humanoid being possibly be a weapon of mass destruction? A battleship? Well, it's thanks to young Cutty Flam that we can explore that possibility. When Cutty Flam and Iceberg reviewed the blueprints from Tom, they both had the same expression, shock, when they first looked at the blueprints. It was Cutty Flam's words straight after seeing the blueprints that piqued my interest. Let's make this thing. He refers to it as a thing rather than a ship. This could simply be put down to Pluton being a monstrous ship, but even so, Cutty Flam was quite used to building battleships with his battle Franky. If he is referring to it as a thing, then it suggests that it's not anything that has ever seen before. By this I mean it doesn't entirely resemble a ship, while with Pluton, it's really a cyborg. Cutty Flam, I believe, was inspired by the blueprints when he turned himself into a cyborg. He would need some understanding of how one is made to be able to turn himself into one to start with. So yes, I am suggesting that Sanjuan Wolf is a cyborg. We all have to look at Vegapunk's work to understand the idea. The world government has been trying for hundreds of years to create giants, but to what purpose? Logically, it would boost their military might, but then we have the pacifista human weapons. What would happen if the two experiments were to combine? It would form the most dangerous weapon ever created, and if the world government had an army of them, it would create a huge shift in the power. Blueprints may have held a key clue to the giantification experiment, but with the knowledge lost, we may never know. However, if Sanjuan Wolf is the product of this experiment from 1000 years ago in the past, how is he still alive? Giants have a longer lifespan than that of a regular human. As the size increases, so does the lifespan. Take Zoe for example. It is over 1000 years old and is one of the biggest living creatures within the main story. Is it really hard to assume that Sanjuan Wolf, being as big as Zoe, could be just as old? If we take into account the idea of him being a cyborg too, it could explain why he doesn't seem to have aged like Zoe has. Being part machine would mean his body wouldn't age at a normal rate. Cyborgs can conceal many weapons within their body. We know from Franky, and given Sanjuan Wolf's size, he could hold many huge cannons or even other types of weapons. But there is something even more interesting that Franky showed us, and that a cyborg can transform. Now Franky's transformation into a centaur Franky was more comical than anything. It didn't do much good, but it shows us that with the right build, a cyborg can indeed transform. Sanjuan Wolf's body is huge and hasn't been fully revealed yet, but we know he's able to stand onto the bottom of the ocean and still have his head above the water. This shows just how big he really is. So if he can transform, he'll be the ideal size for a battleship. You might be wondering why he hasn't transformed already, as Blackbeard was already looking to get a battleship of the Marines to exchange with Jory Bonnie. But Sanjuan Wolf has shown he's quite lazy and moans about having to walk through the sea after breaking the Blackbeard's pirate's raft. I believe with his simple-minded way, he can be quite unpredictable and could even have tantrums if he doesn't get his own way, much like a child. Blackbeard, I am sure, is aware of the fact that Sanjuan Wolf is Pluton, and he alone was probably the reason for the breakout of Impel Down's level 6. Naturally, Blackbeard wanted more crew members, but his pattern suggests that he also sought out Pluton. I doubted it was a coincidence that Blackbeard ended up passing through Alabaster when he did, much less seeing as it was rumoured to be the hiding place for Pluton. If Blackbeard really did seek out Pluton, he would have started there. I believe he found the polyglyph about Pluton and learned the true whereabouts from it. This suggests that Blackbeard or one of his crew may be able to read the poneglyphs. There is little evidence to support the idea, but we all know Blackbeard is far from normal. He most likely had Latif use his hypnosis on Cobra to find out the location, after which made him forget. Let's not forget that there was indeed a poneglyph within Impel Down itself and was never translated. What could that poneglyph have had written upon it? To me, it may have gone a little something like this. One of the three powers that should not have existed in the world, tread carefully, for if you awaken this power, the world as you know it may shake and may fall by its mighty power. Buried away, never to see the light of day. One of the three has been sealed here in its own prison. Be warned, do not wake the sleeping giant. Of that's just my own thoughts of what it may have said, but as my poem suggests, I do believe that Impel Down was created to contain Pluton, as its own personal prison. Finally, I shall add that Franky, though may have been inspired to create himself into a cyborg, took another inspiration from the blueprints to which he created Sunny from it. It's been speculated a few times by myself and other theorists that the Sunny is based off Pluton, but to much a smaller scale. It's the docking system that really ties together the idea. Just as Franky created I in general, this is how I see Pluton's true form being Sanjuan Wolf. Alone isn't complete. There are docking parts hidden around the Grandline waiting to be reunited with Pluton. Take the ancient canon on Drum Island that I believe was part of it, as well as the Drum Mountain themselves, yet another place that Blackbeard passed through. What do you think of this theory? Please leave the comments down below. The theory was written by Legendary Anime. Thanks buddy. Please keep like, and if you haven't, please subscribe. Flying Panda.